Hey, Samore Love Bugs, you have now tuned into my haves and have-nots recap. Guys, be sure to subscribe if you have not yet done so. Also, be sure to share this video wherever you like to share videos, okay? And don't forget to give it that good old thumbs up. So, y'all, it is the season finale. Well, I think it's the mid-season finale. I forgot when he said it's coming back. Is it October? It might be October, but maybe it might be before that. I'm not really sure. But in any case, it's coming back, so that's the best part. But of course, they had to leave us with a cliffhanger, so we'd be like, oh my god, I can't wait till it comes back, you know? They always do that in all these freaking shows. They leave you wanting more. And, I mean, why not, right? So Jim, he is telling Wyatt to take shots with him, and it's almost like one of those games where you take shots and you're kind of confessing or you're telling the truth. Like a have you ever type of game. I played that a few times. Ooh, and it got crazy. So they're going back and forth and just, well, first it was Jim really revealing a lot of things, and Catherine was also revealing some things. And Jim, he starts going into, or segueing in after he finished talking about his affairs, and then talking about Candace as well, and how he's going to make Candace pay because Candace is the main reason that Amanda is dead, because she took the interest in her and all those things. So then Jim goes ahead and he's like, ask me more questions. And he's like, well, I don't have anything right now. He's like, well, you know what? I would like to ask you a question. Are you in love with Jeffrey? It was like, what? It was like, no, I'm not in love with Jeffrey. What kind of question is that? And he's just like, well, I see the way you look at him and the way he looks at you, so I wanted to know, are you in love with Jeffrey? And he's like, no, I'm straight. I don't like guys. Well, he's like, well, they're sure gonna like you. I'm like, oh, I knew it had to be a little something more that he was gonna say. He was like, because once you go to jail, they're going to rape you. You are going to become theirs. And I'm just like, oh, child. I mean, he's like, because of the way you look, that's exactly what's going to happen. I'm a judge. I deal with these people. I'm in front of these people on the bench. I know what kind of people these are. You're not cut out to be in jail. And he's like, tomorrow, I'm going to have to bury my daughter, and then I'm going to have to take you to prison. But you know what? Me and your mother, we're going to go on vacation. And I'm just like, he's giving him a whole lot to think about. Hannah, she's planning the funeral and everything for the criers, making sure that there are lilies and things like that. And she gets a knock on her door. And it's none other than the infamous Mr. Quincy. And she doesn't open the door at first. She kind of like looks, and then she sees that her grandbaby is with him. And at first she was not going to open the door. She's just like, leave him on the porch. I'll come and get him. Don't do anything, just go. She's like, I'm going to call the police. Excuse me. And then he's like, where is Candace? And she's like, I don't know where Candace is. And then he wants her to open the door, but she didn't want to open the door. But then she sees that he has a little grandbaby turned upside down, holding from like one little leg, talking about I'm dingling and dangling this guy on his head and I'll drop him. And she's like, no, don't do that. I'm calling the police. And he's like, by the time the police get here, I'm going to be out. So it don't really matter. So she opens the door, and he's asking her once again, like, where Candace is. And she actually does know, but she wasn't going to tell him. Finally, she's, like, protecting Candace just a little bit. Because I was going to say she didn't really know where he was, but then I remembered that she did go there with Benny, so she actually did know where he was, where she was. So he ends up taking the little grandbaby back with him. She was trying to grab the little boy, the little Quincy, I guess. So now it's all coming together. That's Quincy's father. I didn't realize that before. I mean, I realized, of course, that that Candace had a child, but I didn't realize that was the baby daddy. Now it's even more of a connection. Now it even makes more sense. I guess he must have been beating her real bad or something, which is why she's so terrified of him. Like, you ain't never seen her run from nobody except for Quincy. Quincy's the one man that can get her to go into hiding, not even want to open the door, not want to answer her phone or nothing. So she goes to grab the boy, and he like gives her one good lick in her face. She almost fell into the car. I was like, oh child, he done messed with the wrong one. So he drives off, and she just goes back inside. Of course, she's a little razzled by everything. When Benny comes home, he brought her something to eat, and she's kind of trying to hide herself a little bit, and so he doesn't see the side of her face. It was actually the left side of her face. So when she does get the food, or go to get the food from him, he notices that she has a bruise. She's like, why are you acting like that? Then he notices the bruise. And he's like, wait, what happened to your face? She's like, Quincy came. She's like, so Quincy did this to you? You telling me that he did the... Yo, if you guys sort of look in freaking Benny's face, yo, he had the look of death in his face. Like, it looked like he was on an episode of Snap. Like, he just lost it. He was like, stay here, lock the doors, I'll be back. And he was just out. It was like nothing else. He ends up in the other side of town, and he smashes into Quincy's car. And Veronica ends up having to be the one to bail him out. But we don't get into some Veronica, because Veronica, ooh, child, this was crazy. So while Jeffrey, he's talking to Landon and Candace, Melissa, you remember Melissa, and thank you, honey, for telling me that her name was Melissa, because I didn't know that girl name for nothing. I don't know. It kept on flying out of my head. So one of you guys was like, it's Melissa. I'm like, thank you. So Melissa, she was crying to him, and she says that he has to like her, and let's go upstairs. So they go upstairs. She says that she wants to talk to him privately, and then she's just like, oh, we have to have sex. And he's like, what they said is right. I'm gay. What is wrong with you? And she's just like, we have to. I'll let you watch gay porn. We could bring another guy into this if you would like to, but this has to go down. Like, we have to do something. And she goes ahead and strips off all of her clothes, just left in her underwears. Luckily, Candace came to the rescue, and Candace is like, what are you doing here? And she's like, oh, mind your business. She's like, little girl, please. She looks through the girl bag and finds an ovulation stick that shows that she's ovulating. So now it seems like she's one of the money-hungry whores that just wants to get pregnant and have control of the money, or get attached to the money, because now he would have to pay child support or whatever else it is that he would have to pay. So that's the way it's looking. So Candace is like, you don't gotta do this. I can help you. I can trick you out, girl. She's like, I'm not like that. But that's the way it's looking right about now. That's pretty much what you're doing. It's just they don't really know the whole entire story at that point, that it was Veronica that kind of set this all up. Once she finally leaves, because I guess she's embarrassed, and plus Candace kind of scared her off, his mother calls. He answers the phone, even though Candace told him several times not to. I'm like, come on, Jeffrey. She's like, oh, I see that you scared Melissa off. You ran her off. She was like, you have to come over to my house now. And Candace is just like, how does she even know all of this information? What is going on? Like, this is starting to get a little weird. So he ends up talking about, oh, I gotta go to her house. And Candace is just like, why? You don't have to jump every time she says jump. And I'm looking at him like, come on, dude. You gotta stand up for yourself. What, you know that this woman just got you beat up, and you still gonna go over to her house because she told you to, and she hung up the phone? Seriously? Candace is like, she's gonna be the death of you. So Veronica, she is starting with her old habits again. She started back drinking. She got her hair all braided up. She didn't have a wig on this time. And she was smoking too. And then she tells him, and this is Jeffrey I'm talking about, she tells Jeffrey that he's going to be a father. And he's like, what are you talking about? She's like, you did it. She's like, we've been doing this for so long, planning this, making sure her ovulation was right. That's why we waited for the right moment so that you can have sex with her. And you're going to be a father. And he just looked like he was mortified. Like, that is not the life that I want. It's like she's really making sure she puts the life that she wants him to have. She's just like, Melissa's pregnant, and you're going to have to marry her now. He's like, that's not what I want. And she's like, so what do you want? It's like, you want a man with a mustache all in your face, breathing in your face. That's what you want? And I'm just like, oh my goodness, just shut up. She was just like so rude. And then he's like, he just flipped. And I was like, yes! I was doing a little dance like, yes, get it. Get it. Let her know a piece of your mind. Finally tell her how you feeling, man. You gotta do this. So he was like, you are evil, you're wicked, you're stupid. He called her simple. He called her, he called her so many names. I was just like, dang, Jeffrey, when you explode, you should explode. But at least he didn't curse at her, And then she slapped him. She's like, who do you think you're talking to? And he's like, he's like, yo, I hate myself for loving you. I hate myself for caring about what you think. And he's like, you're just stupid and pathetic. And he was like, he hates himself for making her matter in his life. And then he just told her to like shut up because she was saying something about how he was disgusting, and he's just like, shut up. Yes, I want a man. I want a man to love me. I was like, dang, Jeffrey, you are not playing. He's like rubbing that little Soar right now, like, and he threw a little bit of salt on it, and he's rubbing that Soar. He was telling her a piece of his mind, and I was like, she deserves it. And then he was just like, I'm done. Go to hell. And I was like, yes. And then he just leaves. A little after that was when, I think that's when Benny had came home. When Benny called her because he was in jail now because he freaking beat up this guy. Oh, but even before that, David had came, and David was giving her a piece of his mind, and he said that he was not going to leave. And she's like, so you're just going to disregard everything that I'm saying? He's like, yeah, this is my house. I've had enough of this, and I don't like what you're doing to Jeffrey, and we're going to get you some help because you need it. So she's like, you trying to take me to a psychologist so that you can have a little leeway when we go to court? You trying to get a divorce from me? That's what you're trying to do? So she really thinks, I think she's more pissed off because she thinks that he cheated, and she also thinks that he set her up. And none of those things that she thinks is actually the real facts, but you can't tell her nothing different. Like, she has that stuck in her head, and nothing that you can say or do can show her anything differently. You know what I mean? So when he goes upstairs and goes to take off his clothes and go lay down in his bed that he probably either paid for or helped pay for. I mean, they're both wealthy because they're both judges and in the law enforcement and all those things. So yeah, they're both pretty wealthy. So you can't say one person did any more than the other. She goes to go help Benny. She bails him out, and then she makes him drive. Then she also tells him to pull over on the side. So I'm like, pull over. Okay. And then she tells him, my husband cheated on me. And then she goes to kiss him, and then it looked like she gave him head. Yes, I don't know what else happened, because that's like the most that they show was her going down. And I was like this. It's like, call me Veronica. So he getting the old pumps now. She's probably old enough to be his mama, or close enough to it. It's funny how, I'm not even going to say it, but anyways, that was crazy. So when he's driving her back home, he's like, oh, you want me to just bring the car back in the morning? Because of course he had to get back home because his car was now wrecked up because he wanted to take it and crash it into Quincy's car. And she's just like, it's yours. And I'm like, yo, Betty be having that good luck with getting them cars, because that's the second car he done got. The first one he got for a steal of a price. I mean, I could have purchased that car for, what was it, $500? I'd have been like, here you go. Give me 5 seconds. Let me go to the bank right quick. I was like, yo, a nice car like that. And then this one right here is even nicer. An SUV. I don't even know what kind it was. I just know it was amazing. And it probably drives nice and sweet too. I mean, he has the best luck. So anyways, he has that car now. And she gives him a kiss, and then she goes inside. And when she goes inside, she sees that David is sleeping peacefully like a little baby. He's just curled up nice. And what she does is she takes some gasoline, she throws it all over. Because she did tell him, don't stay here. Otherwise, you're not gonna wake up in the morning. You stop it. Don't do it. And she puts the gasoline all over the place. She's smoking. Takes the match. Throws it down and exits to sit in front of the house and I guess wait and see what happens. And I'm just like, does she really think she above the law? What the hell is she doing? This is like on some next level-ish, like on some Lisa Left Eye, but to the next level type of ish. Like, what are you doing? You're burning somebody up in the house. That is grounds for you to be, well, I don't know if it's execution. I don't know if they still do that anymore. But yeah, that's grounds for you to go to prison and be there for a while. That's called murder. What are you doing? Seriously, like, have you lost it that much? She really, really needs to go and get some help. But anyways, that's how they left us. They left us with him sleeping. The room is burning up and he's sleeping like a baby. So hopefully he's able to wake up pretty soon. Hopefully they got some fire alarms because those things definitely save lives. Trust me, from a girl who knows. I almost burnt up the house, but we're not going to talk about that one. That was a while ago when I was younger. But yeah, that was pretty much the episode. So guys, let me know what you thought about this episode down below. Looking forward to seeing your responses. Pretty darn good episode. And now we're going to talk about if loving you is wrong on my next video. So be sure to check that out and let me know what you thought about that. Yeah, I'm starting that up now. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to stay fabulous, live free, and soar limitless. I'll see you in the next one. Later.